Oh my God. All right. Welcome to the 8th episode of the High Vibe Guys, everybody. My name is Big Bulls. You got your boy, Asa Bay, the scholar, the teacher, the light. Akil, elaborate, because you like to do that.
The plant god, you forgot that, huh?
King B.
The scientist.
Oh, no, we're not doing that.
The metaphysicist.
Y'all are so good for my ego.
Metaphysicist.
I'm gonna schedule these shows on my depressing days.
The
Y'all gonna
illusionist.
gas me
I
up.
don't know why I threw illusionist.
Somebody
I was
actually
running
hit us
out
That's
up.
of-
Pisces energy though.
Yeah, I was running out of.
I'd hit me up one day and said, I've never heard you praise anybody like that.
I feel honored.
I was
That's
like,
the
yeah.
truth.
I told her, I was like, it's Akil's idea. That's how we do it.
But it's the truth.
And then we got the other co-host of the show.
Millie Rocky.
So, oh yeah, that's Akil. And then
Hey,
Dave,
The
bro.
one and only Akil.
one and only.
wrong
And in
with
the
you?
background, we got Dave taking care of stuff.
I'm just here to fact check.
Fact check. And to
For booze.
make me look stupid.
Right.
For booze.
Oh, and we got our second guest of all damn time.
Oh, we need that drum roll.
That drum roll?
What?
Really, it's the first. It's the first because she was the first female
Yeah, and
guest.
it's-
and he's the
okay.
First male guest.
First male guest.
You know what I'm saying? Coming
So-
through with that yin yang real quick.
The yin yang. And I like what Asa called him earlier because he called him the Marcus Garvey of the day. Well, he didn't say that, but he compared him to Marcus Garvey.
I'm just saying
He
that
said you're
energy,
your Marcus
bro.
Garvey
We-
vibe.
What's big right now? What's essential right now? Food.
Food.
Who else do you know is like putting their energy, their time every day, blood, sweat, and tears? You see it on the gram. You see them out and about. You see them in communities, radio shows, trying to get these people to concentrate their energy on what? Food, bro.
Being consistent and persistent. And I met Rafa about 2 years ago, man. And in that, I would recognize how much of a battle he had in front of him. And 2 years later, to see somebody fighting that battle, to know what it takes in order to open a grocery store, because I'm very familiar with that process, to know that he's going at it not alone, but alone in the sense that he's definitely the one who's shouldering the responsibility of moving forward this project inside of his community, and knowing how important it is and how detrimental it is to the development of our community and some of the people within it. I couldn't be prouder of you, Brandon. I know I never had this conversation with you. I couldn't be proud of you. And it's not a glamorous thing to do. It's a necessity. And we need more people in our community who are pushing towards doing things that are necessities and not to, get IG likes and things of that nature, because you seem like you've always been deeper than that. Go ahead and introduce yourself. We got Raphael Wright of the neighborhood grocery store inside the building, y'all.
I think you pretty much hit the introduction. Eastsider, Detroiter.
Is that important? You got to
too
Yeah,
important.
if you from Detroit, born and raised, East Side, West Side is the thing.
It's important. It's
Yeah.
important.
West Side over here. West Side. I'm sorry.
It's still love.
It's all love. It's
As
always love.
But
We.
yeah,
We.
yeah, it's a we thing. But
Yeah.
entrepreneur by career used to be by passion, but now this community development thing is really my passion now. You get to a certain place socially where it's like, I've driven every car that I would want to drive. I've seen the dollar amounts that I'm happy with, but I'm not happy with what I see out in the world. I got to do something to change something, because that's what your legacy is really going to be built around, and that's where your heart and your karma is going to be reflective of that. Your judgment is going to be what good you've done, not how much money you made and all that other good stuff. So, I just woke up one day and wanted to get on that. So that's where my passion is, man, is this community development and this dang on grocery store that we keep talking about. That's the start of community development. You can't lead your folks unless you're feeding them first.
So before we get into the neighborhood grocery, we normally kick it off with just a random topic. And we already hit coronavirus in our last episode. So for this one,
We really didn't, though.
did we not go into it?
Not really.
I mean,
We ain't go too far into it. But, I mean,
oh, God.
I think everybody know the logistics of what's going on now.
Well, because Akil's a big conspiracy theorist. I can't say it correctly, but he's all into conspiracy. So why don't you go ahead and give us your top conspiracy for coronavirus at the moment?
Oh, so, I mean, for me, it's kind of like what Ada touched on with the last episode. It's always something. It's always something to, promote fear and keep people in a type of space. So for me, I see all the little linchpins of martial law type things being rolled out.
You sound like a segue.
Well, I had one.
Oh, is the coronavirus a segue to?
Uh-huh.
I could
Oh,
see it
yeah.
being that because nothing in my lifetime has reached the level of shutting down the whole country.
Or the NBA. I ain't never heard
Or
of that.
yeah, the NBA not playing or sport or
The NBA shut down
events.
before.
It's been done.
No,
like
but
the
not for the
SARS
corona.
outbreak, and I believe it was H1N1, where they had games without fans.
They shut
I'm
the
I'm a
season
I'm
down.
a I'm a basketball fan. Like since I was little, they have never done this. This
No,
has
where they're killing the season, basically.
yeah, that this suspended the season until further notice. They've never done this ever. So this is like a whole different ball game,
Magic Johnson played with HIV and they didn't shut it down.
right?
Yeah.
Right.
That was,
Yeah.
you know.
Well,
but,
But they
But
dealt
it-
with guys that didn't want to play
Yeah,
play
I
against
do
them. or
remember
play with
those.
them.
Yeah.
What if he gets some blood
Very
on you
true.
or something like that?
Karl
Well, and there
Malone.
are players that have tested positive for coronavirus.
Yeah.
And so,
Rudy
honestly,
Gobert.
My whole thing with it is it's a math issue, and Americans, by and large, aren't very good at math because people are looking at like all the memes that are floating around and all that kind of stuff. They're like, oh, it's no worse than getting a hangnail. More people die from cows than. The problem isn't the fatality statistics right now. You're comparing it against things that are in the past, and so those numbers are finalized and will not continue growing. This is growing at an exponential rate. Like it went from 400 to 4,000 to 20,000 cases in Wuhan inside of 2 weeks. In Italy, it went from a couple dozen to 3,000 to 10,000 within 2 weeks. It's the super virality of it that people are missing. And they said, it's not a 0.3% fatality rate. It's more like a 3.4, 3.5% fatality rate. And that's like if you're healthy. They said, senior citizens, I think the rate I saw was something like 20 to 30.
Wow.
I think I focus a lot of my efforts in the hood, right? I think that in Detroit we had the water shut-off issue, right? How important is water in preventing the virus in the first place?
Right.
And we ain't got water.
Right.
And then we got people who have water and they don't even take care of their hygiene. So we are the perfect host for this type of virus in the hood and don't even really know it. That's why that's why I feel like it's a concern. Who wants to just catch this just because, like, yeah, I won't die, but who wants to catch something and who wants to be in an environment where, because I'm not afraid of homeless people and people that don't have access to water. I'm afraid of the people who got access to water and they just walking around hugging and handshaking and kicking with everybody. They don't wash their hands. They don't wash their backside. And, that's what you got to really deal with. And those are things you got to think about. You know what I'm saying? Like that. This is not something to really play with when you look at the intangibles. I think we look at, obviously the math stuff, but we don't look at the intangibles and the little things. This is something that's pretty big and something that we should be concerned about. It could be overhyped a little bit, maybe, but I think that is something to think about. It's something to definitely think about and definitely be concerned about, especially if you got children. You don't want to put them in harm's way because of your conspiracy theories and stuff like that. Not saying that, that's the thing here, but I'm,
Yeah, Kill. You don't want your baby.
No.
out here.
No.
Shit. Yeah.
The actual virus, like they say, is more targeting older folks. You know
Who
what I'm saying?
have weak
Who have
respiratory
weak
systems.
respiratory systems. And I attack it in a vigilant manner. That sounds like booze.
Cast Tech.
I
Did you
attack
go
it
to
in a
Cast?
I went to King.
King? Okay, cool.
another rival cast. Jesus
But I
Christ,
think
what
it
is
was
going on
Renaissance and King. And I was like, A1, but continue. Do your thing.
here? Not really.
As a matter of fact,
I know, right? But God, with your stupid banter threw me off.
I want to
30
ask. I want to
The
ask a second
average,
question.
the average cast technician cannot hold a thought for more than 25 seconds. The average person cannot. Let me.
That's like a
I got
goldfish.
I got some cool cast technicians. Not y'all. Whoever listening. I'm not talking about y'all. I'm just trying to shoot flames at a kill. But the average human can't
Dude,
hold it.
Live Nation. This is a crazy number. In the past 10 days, past week, has lost $1.8 billion
Sheesh.
due to canceled concerts, canceled events, canceled
Dang.
everything.
So what's going on with the economy off of this?
Oh, they about to
what's
come
the
up
bounce
with the
back?
solution. You ready?
And-
Come on,
and
man.
I guess
Here you go.
Okay, so hold on, wait. why as a quote unquote conspiracy theorist would I not think the way that you just said? Present the problem, here's the solution. Has that not been the
Supply and
case?
demand.
Has that not been the case for what American culture, Western culture has been? What are y'all talking about? We can go into some stuff for real, and I can bring out like actual facts that come out conveniently 10, 15 years after some shit happened. 20 years after everybody then thought it
Can I
through
say
and then
something?
Can I
been
say
stressed out about it. Yeah,
Can I say something before Booze?
of course.
2 things. Possibly 12.
Okay.
But definitely 2. 1, inside the grocery store, will there be a medicinal herbal section?
Yeah, definitely. I think one, supply and demand, that's one of the popular reintroductions in our community, and I think it's something that's vital too. I think I looked at something like deodorant, and it's like when you look at the ingredients of deodorant, it's like metal and plastic
Aluminum.
and all types of stuff that your body just is not supposed to consume. So, why wouldn't we introduce that? Now, and you don't see it in grocery stores outside of maybe like Whole Foods. Like, you don't really see that section or that real education element either. Like, nobody is really educating on natural medicine and how important that it is and how effective it could be. I think that is went into that superstition type of category, and it's not being promoted or presented in a way that's credible. I think that it has become that joke or that, that's that thing that the CBites do or something like that, or but it's real and it's effective. You know what I'm saying? But overall, like, health has to get into a routine. It's not something that you just, let me fix it when I'm sick. No, this is a routine. And herbal and natural medicines is a part of that routine. So it definitely be in there.
So having first,
Second thing
okay.
that I was gonna say, let me cut off Bulls on purpose. I didn't mean to cut you off. I did definitely meant to cut you off. The second thing I wanted to say is, like, when we all hyped up about this stuff, finger pointing and complaining, like, what are you about to do about it? To the listener, to my brothers, you know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, we be hooping and hollering, complaining. What you about to do about it? The creator, yourself, however you see the God of the universe, you have an immune system. And we be just treating it reckless every day. Like bro said, consistency. We need like some type of regiment where you keep yourself in order. And by doing so, you put yourself into a condition where your body don't even tolerate nonsense like that. Even if the virus enters your atmosphere, enters your body, it gotta deal with what's going on there. So if you got your military up, your immune, because you can't really kill the virus, but you can shut that bad boy down and say, get up out of here. You know what I'm saying? If you got your system intact. So I think we need to put our attention back on that. Like brother Ralph says, like, we got all these medicinal methods like that really work. It's not hocus pocus.
Nope.
This is what your grandma was doing. That's why she lived to a bajillion years old, eating pork, because she knew how to tune herself back up in that backyard.
and she had all her hair. Well, a lot
Bulls,
of it. A lot of it.
Bulls.
My grandma got a wig now. Grandma, I love you. I love you, Grandma. God,
I love you.
Yeah,
P.O.P.
let me tell you something. I didn't really realize until one day.
Like this mom and his grandma back to back.
No,
episodes.
my mom's got a thick fro, but my grandma though.
My mama's old and my grandma got wigs.
Nah, Grandma, you know I love you. But one day I went up to her house and then I was like, damn, who is this lady? Oh, that's you. Shit. I wanted to segue back to the grocery store because you said, what are you doing to impact the community? What are you doing to change the culture? Raphael is definitely trying to put something in the community to help change the culture. What I want to ask you this: what's the difference between your grocery store and the corner store? What's the difference?
The offering off top, the corner store, we know it's a friend's outlet. It's a friend's food outlet.
Parasite.
Yeah, it is not designed to keep life going. You know what I'm saying? It's designed to make money, and their position in such a close and convenient proximity to the ideal quintessential, not just, I won't say Detroiter, but the person in the hood. Like, so many people don't have vehicles, and if you in a city like Detroit with like the worst public transportation system, what are your real options of eating? You know what I'm saying? If you working ungodly hours, and you still not making enough money. You got rent and all these other things. What are you really left with when it comes to eating? So those stores are positioned and not positioned in a way to keep you alive. You know what I'm saying? So I want to take that same model of location, but present something that will keep you going. You know what I'm saying? And putting something in your body that will keep you going and help not just your physical body, but your mental as well. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of what you eat, it affects your mood. You know what I'm saying? Like I've been researching that for a long time. Like, we talk about crack babies and how imbalanced they were, but I mean, I ate Cheetos every day since I was 5. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm
The
just,
hot ones or the regular?
regular ones. Yeah, I hate hot food, but I'm no different than a crack baby in that sense. And I'm the quintessential Detroiter of that generation who, ate snacks for breakfast or didn't even eat breakfast and, just walked around. This is a walking time bomb of sugar consumption. You know what I'm saying? Like you got to put something better in your body and it got to be promoted away too. So being in a close proximity to these neighbors, the presentation I think is going to be the difference maker, as well as just the offering. You know what I'm saying? Like it got to be cool. If it's not cool, ain't nobody gonna mess with it.
And there's so many seeds you planted when you do this, bro, because it's not only the seed, well, it's multiple seeds, but another seed that I think about that you're planting is the black entrepreneurship in the grocery realm. And, like, that's a whole thing within itself. There are no other black-owned grocery stores inside the city of Detroit right now. Mr. Hooks, who I think the majority of us are pretty familiar with, at least in this room, was, I believe, the last black grocery store owner inside the city itself, which I know Raphael is really familiar with. So is Asabe. Akil doesn't know anybody. So it's definitely... But... How is it navigating? How is it navigating the landscape where there is nobody else who looks like you within that landscape where you're the only one? Because is it an isolating feeling? I know you and Malik Kenny had a sit down interview, and I want to talk on that real quick, real briefly. But how do you navigate the landscape to do something that nobody else is doing right now?
I learned kind of quickly that it wasn't even a color thing when it comes to black, because there's a lot of, it's black, white. Anybody outside of Chaldean don't understand grocery, and they don't have the penetration to actually get stuff done. Like it's a lot of white people that want to do these things too, and they can't do it either because that Chaldean community got such a stronghold on.
How?
One, ownership of land. Like they own all the land in the hood. So if you want to be local, they got the buildings that are ideal to put that type of offering in it. You know what I'm saying? Like you can put a grocery store in a grocery store building only. You know what I'm saying? You can put anything in a grocery store building, but you can't put a grocery store in, I don't know, a repair shop or something like that. Like it has to be a specific type of building to take that type of offering for, one, legal purposes, and two, just for health. Like that's another thing that we have to think about is that these places that are our grocery stores today, they're not even safe places to put food in. You know what I'm saying? Like they won't pass inspection. You know what I'm saying? If the city came through and wanted to inspect them spaces. So just imagine how healthy that food is if it's not even in a safe beacon, you know what I mean? So, the land is a big thing when you just can't get into that access to get a space because they own all of them, that the ones that could actually be perfect for your idea concept. The distribution then is difficult as well because they own distributors, but then at the same time, they're positioned in places where you might have a building half mile down, but a big distributor won't distribute to you because
you ain't spending no money with them.
Yeah,
you got to go out the way to drop off them groceries. You got to pay somebody.
Yeah,
it costs money to even drop them off to you. So
yeah, and then they got the cannibal rule. If you within a certain mile radius, you cannibalize to somebody else.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so like Spartan, if you within a certain mile radius from another Spartan store, they won't distribute. And that's all distributors, you know what I'm saying? They got the cannibal rule where they, I like your concept, but we got a store.
Even the holistic style one, even like a Unify or something like that?
They not really in the neighborhood like that. You know what I mean? So, I think they only really distribute to like Whole Foods and Better Health, something like that. So they not really out here like that. They probably would, but then is that price gonna make sense?
And just for the novice, if you're not really into business like that, distributor is basically the person who they warehouse all the groceries and they basically drop them off to the different grocery stores. So They might have the Lucky Charms or the General Mills and the canned goods and all this other thirds. And what he's basically saying is that you can't get this big company that has all the groceries to bring them to you if there's a lot of different things in place to kind of keep it from happening. So,
yeah, I think that's one of the myths. People think, oh yeah, you just find a distributor and they sell you food. No, they give you the check if they're gonna actually do it or not. You know, they interview you. Like you send for them, then they interview you. One, experience matters. So if you don't have the experience, that's a no. If you're not in the right location, no. They look at, you know, your financial picture. And, you know, it's like, hey, we want to make $1 million a year. You know, we not trying to make a couple $1,000. Like, we down the street, we making millions a year down there with them. What would make us come to you?
Is the dollar amount worth their time?
Is it worth it? Is it worth it? They do their own numbers and all of that stuff, and they be like, nah, I know. You know, the DGC put out like a market study for the neighborhoods, and it's like, you know, this neighborhood can support 10 grocery stores. You ask a distributor, they're gonna say, nah, this neighborhood could probably support one, and we got it already. So we ain't coming over here. You know what I'm saying? Like,
so what options does that leave you, man?
You got the smaller distributors. Again, prices impacted. Then you have to do extra work. You know, you have to probably go get the food yourself and things like that, which again is an option. It's not like it's a bad option if that's the only option that you have, but those are the things that people don't think about when you look at groceries.
I love what you just said. The price is impacted, right? So that means if you're getting your groceries, and let's say if Raphael would open up the neighborhood grocery store and he can't get a large distributor to drop off groceries, he has to go to a smaller distributor. It's this thing called purchasing power. That smaller distributor can't buy the same amount of General Mills cereal, right? So they don't get the same deal that a larger distributor would get.
So you don't get the same deal.
So you don't get the same deal, which means that his box of cereal is going to cost an extra $1 for him to get a margin to make a profit off of that, right? And how much do you think that impacted Mr. Hooks? Because I believe the price point is something that, like, we say we want a black-owned business in the community, but if we got to charge an extra 50 cents, people's like, oh, they're trying to rip us off. And how do you kind of feel like you can try to navigate that? Because that's one of those things that I feel like is a consistent issue in the community. We don't recognize that it's a thing called purchasing power. Yeah. And if I'm small and I don't have all the support, that I can't charge the same amount.
Yeah, well, Chaldeans win because they buy together. No, even whether they related or not. You know, I went to I always go to this one store. I went to the produce terminal. This is when I first started this journey. A guy that I work with took me to the produce terminal just to network and meet some people, and we literally seen at least half of the grocery store owners in the city, all Chaldean. They all came together and they literally just bought everything. Like, they just bought it all, and you seen them sectioning everything off. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, this person took his stuff here, they took his stuff there. Like, that's what they do. You know, they may not be blood related, but they work together. So Mr. Hooks, he's the only show in town of our kind, you know what I'm saying? What did he really have as a, like, when we talk about Malik and I, that's what we talk about. Like, we don't have to be partners as far as the concept, but I need him to open, and he needs me to open, because now that's two people, you know, possibly going to the same distributor with that purchasing power, you know, making everything cheaper. And then it's hard to do that in a community that's so competitive and so divided. You know what I'm saying? You see that so much too, where everybody want to get their shit off. So
can I say one thing?
Yeah.
God damn, this is a good ass episode. All right, go back with it. This shit is good as fuck, man. Like, this fucking information is.
I feel like I'm in like a fucking college course right now, bro. Like a business course.
And don't nobody think that deep. It's like, you know, I've met with so many people all trying to do the same thing. It's like, why are we trying to do it differently? We're saying the same thing. We trying to do the exact same thing. If you bought your whatever, I bought my whatever, you bought your whatever to the one bag, and we went to a distributor together, we don't have no excuse. There's no excuse for them to say no. And if they say no, then do what we always been doing for 100 years, cry about it and complain about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's protesting. It has its foundation when you got facts. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of people just cry about stuff and don't even really have a reason why. But if we all came and went and knocked on the door and said, hey, can we buy something? And they say no, there you go. There go yo. And then we got social media and all these other things. Like, now we got a story. You know what I'm saying? Now we can really pull the onion back and, you know, pull those layers back and say, hey, we trying our best, but this is what we going up against. But we be going up against ourselves. You know what I mean?
Let me shit.
After you.
So I got two things real quick. First off, I love your perspective because you're speaking from an experience. I keep pushing perspective, and that's, to me, that's like when you keep building knowledge because you keep pursuing your dream. That's what you're speaking from, and I think even that alone is really good for the listener right now and myself, man, because a lot of us, when one barrier comes up, two barrier comes up, three barrier comes up, we stop pursuing and we stop persisting. Well, what you're speaking from is like, I'm gonna keep pushing and figure out a way to make it happen. And even that's kind of what I get. That's what I got when you said that you and Malik kind of had that moment where it's like, shit, why are we not clicking? And just, we got two different visions, but we can help each other be successful in what we're trying to do and accomplish our goals. And we got to work together more. But damn, dog, that's a beautiful, the way you just put it is beautiful.
Yeah,
bro.
but you said, you just said perspective earlier, and it makes so much sense. You see a difference in perspective. Like when I interview Malik, because I got an upcoming urban health channel coming on YouTube. Yeah, so I'm pursuing this task of edutainment rather, on health in urban America. Not just Detroit, but every city like Detroit. So that was the first interview. I said I gotta get Malik in a sit down capacity. A lot of people say I couldn't do it because he weird. He don't really do stuff like that. You know, I'm like, I'm getting his interview. He talked so much about his time in the movement, right? And then I hear people that's probably his same age and his same, you know, have done the same things he's done, but it's a struggle to them. So while he's saying the movement, they saying the struggle. But because Malik has made himself, so he has something to fall back on. One, he's done the work, he's been through the headache, but he's built the following. He has believers and followers behind him.
Facts.
And he's found a way to execute and monetize what he's been doing. You know, other people haven't been able to do that. So it's a struggle for them. Yeah. I've been in the struggle for 50 years. He's been in the movement for 50 years. Me, I've been in the movement for about to be 3 years. As other people been in the struggle for that same period of time. So the perspective is different too. So you have to have the right-minded people at the table too, because I go in them neighborhood meetings all the time and I talk to struggle people who everything is a struggle. The glasses always half empty. And then, you know, you probably got one or two people in that room where it's a movement and the glass is half full, and you still get shit done with them folks. Right. But you do find that issue where it's like in the room of 100 people, it's only 2 of them that's really down with it. Everybody else is struggle folks. And that's what you run into a lot. It's perspective. Definitely perspective.
Go ahead.
Good. So 2 more questions. One, I'm glad you all brought up Mr. Hooks. It seems as though, yeah, it's going to be another black-owned grocery store, but I feel a lot of different energy coming about because the people, it sounds like the people are going to have the opportunity to participate a little different. Can you speak on that?
So a backstory on, not backstory, but back facts on this effort being what it is. In 2012, Barack Obama, our president still, you know what I mean, he passed the Jobs Act of 2012. Before 2012, only publicly traded companies could, like, create an offering of, like, selling shares of his business. And private companies that had that power. Crowdfunding has always been around with, like, Kickstarter, GoFundMe, things like that. Well, now with the Jobs Act of 2012, you can offer equity of your business and not just, you know, say, hey, you give me $10, I give you a T-shirt or something like that. If you give me $10, I can give you equity. You can, you know, have a different fundraising engine for a small business. Being in a city like Detroit that we're having this gentrification conversation and gentrification, you know, you see it and you see that, you know, most Detroiters, most native Detroiters, most black people, most poor black people have been locked out of the development conversation. This is a way for us to get entry into that, right? So much stuff is being built in our neighborhoods or in our city that we don't approve of or we don't like. But this is our opportunity to do something that we want to do our way, how, when, whatever. So opening up that outlet was something that I thought was important from an equity standpoint. But it's just a fundraising thing because grocery stores just don't have the funding available. You know, for every $1 that a grocery store can get in a loan fast food franchises get like $8 or something like that.
Why is that?
It's the profit margin. You know, grocery stores and anybody that work in grocery understands that it's razor thin. Like,
Yeah.
grocery stores do not profit
Right.
a lot. It's steady and it's consistent. You know, year by year, you know you're gonna get that 1% or that 3% or 4%, depending on whatever. But you ain't getting what you would get in a tech business. You know, music business or whatever, the margins just don't add up. So it's just not the sexiest investment from a lending or investment standpoint. You know, I would rather give my money to a tech business than I would a grocery store.
I think
So-
I think it kind of speaks to what you said earlier too. You said I done seen the dollars I want to see before. You know what I mean? Because you got to be humble to some extent to say that, yo, I'm only getting so much money out of this. The bag is only so big.
Yeah.
You know, like this ain't like the bag to have it. So I'm finna have a Phantom. This the bag so I can sustain my way of life that I got right now. Which I think, man, you right now you making yourself the most respectable person in this room, right?
It's a labor of love, though, man.
It is a labor of love.
Yeah.
Spoke about it earlier when he was talking about community building.
We was talking about raising kids earlier and how you got to be persistent and all these other things. And you talk about this almost like you're raising a kid. You know what I mean?
I mean, you cannot build a community. You know how good a community is by its grocery store. You know, period. Because that's the life of your community. Like, you have to feed people first before we have any other conversation about, you know, the neighborhood needs a rec center or, you know, we need street bumps or whatever. You need a grocery store to feed your folks. And our communities are built around McDonald's and all that other stuff. We killing each other, you know what I'm saying? And like this is an agenda too. You know, there's a book that came out some years ago that talk about why so many fast food franchises and fringe food outlets in the hood is because it's just profitable. It's more profitable. Grocery stores don't present the profit, and it's not a cool job. You see it now with the Chaldeans though, where them stores is closing. Them kids don't want them stores. They don't want that labor. It's not a labor of love for them. They like, we only sold to niggas.
Yeah, you talking about the next generation of Middle Easterners coming in.
Yeah. They not. They want to sell weed. They don't want to sell food. It's like,
That's
you know,
a big fact.
Yeah, they don't. These stores is closing for that. You know, these you know older generations. This was a easy money back grab for them. They're like, look, I'm getting to you. They like, man, I'm good. I'm about to be with the rappers. I'm about to sell weed. I'm straight. And all these dispensaries and all these stores are closing down because of it. Because
They getting conditioned like Americans to want the same bullshit that we want. They coming over with one agenda, that at least the parents are, and then the second generation is like, you know,
the second generation is straight up Americans, though. They
Americans.
yeah,
born and raised into this culture.
and they need to be known too. So that just show black people like we ain't the only ones that have like a a fucked up look at things, because look at what they're doing. Like, I mean, I can't say I'm happy with the fact that Chaldeans are present because they don't care, and I'm not saying they bad people either, but this is not to improve the community. These grocery stores, to make money.
It's to make money.
It's to make money.
We talked about this on one episode, man, where the conditions of the store itself, and you kind of were speaking to it earlier, whether it's the liquor store or corner store, are deplorable. How they treat us is beyond the lack of respect.
They won't eat the food they sell.
They won't eat the food themselves. They see them out there cooking their own food, and they got food on the shelves, right? And then again, this is not to down any group of people, because this is definitely not what the high vibes of guys are about. But we are about speaking truth, though, and we are about speaking to people who don't necessarily have good intentions inside of our community, because they're here to make a dollar. It's no difference than when a European goes to Africa and says, you know what, I'm here to make money. I'm finna mine these mines and build a community around it. The community's gonna be shitty as fuck, because I'm getting these diamonds out. They getting these dollars out, which are the diamonds inside of our community. And we need more people to actually fight for it. And I'm glad that the kids, unfortunately, aren't interested in continuing on that legacy, because we need more of us to have the opportunity in the space. Because that's what, like you were saying earlier, if the space doesn't exist, they have all the land, then what do you actually proceed? How did you even go about finding a space to try to make this thing real? And couple that with, how do we get to that investor piece? How much can I put in, and how do we do that?
So I answer the first question first. As far as location, just research. My first intended location was Advanced Auto Parts store on the east side. It's funny. I told this story on another podcast on how I ended up losing that space or the opportunity to get that space. But I told people from day one, once I got out of contention to get that space, I'm like, a dollar store or something gonna open up there, which is becoming the biggest grocery store in the world right now. Is dollar stores.
Right.
And look up, it's a Dollar General now. You know what I'm saying? I knew from day one, I'm like, you know, because they sold the building, you know, and voided my lease. I'm like, a dollar store probably bought it or something. I knew it, you know what I'm saying? And it opened up like that. But as far as location picking, looking at unmet demand, like I got into the industry and started, you know, understanding what the numbers were. The numbers don't lie either. It's not, you know, you can have in your heart, you know, what you want to put somewhere. You got to follow what the numbers say. You know what I'm saying? Those numbers mean something, you know what I mean?
Right.
So I've literally just been trying to pursue places with that unmet demand, that offering that's not being presented, or that leakage that's being, you know, created in the community, and just trying to create an opportunity there. Not to say I don't have an interest in getting in like a food desert or something like that, but the boxes got to check off. You know what I'm saying? The population got to be there.
The business got to make sense.
The business got to make sense.
If it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. Still, is real. You know what I mean?
So and then, you know, once we get those places set up, then we can go in those deserts. You know what I'm saying? Because Detroit has some deserts. You know, it's just more food insecure, and we got more swamps than deserts. But we can't target those deserts until we create the oases where you can. You got to put aces in their places. You know what I mean? So, that's how I've been pursuing locations. Is just, you know, looking at the numbers and seeing where the demand is. As far as getting involved, the website is online. This is an accredited project from the state of Michigan. The Michigan Mile Act is what I'm using. So all Michigan residents are open to becoming a founding investor in neighborhood grocery. It's neighborhood-grocery.com. I got all of my paperwork there. As far as like offering memo, the business plan can be got there. Is everything that you need to make a sound investment decision is on that website. And then all my social media stuff too have all that information as well, where, you know, it's a lot of reading. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of stuff to look through and read through. This to make I'm just being as transparent as I could with the project. Just making sure that you have all the information you need to make an investment. The initial buy-in is $50. And then no more than 10,000, because we don't want the IRS bothering us. So 50 to 10,000 is what you can put in, and you'll get an annual interest and product discounts, but you have a seat at the table. Most importantly.
So man, I'm sorry that I'm hogging this, y'all, but all three of us are pledging.
All three
of us are pledging to invest when we get done today. Something we had decided before we even walked in this room that we knew we wanted to be a part of this. We wanted to do it on the air. We wanted to give you cash. We all had got one, so we was gonna make it rain on you, but we felt like that was inappropriate.
I took it on. I got to record it too.
I'm gonna give you the bread later, because unlike these two, I don't just carry cash. I don't know what the hell these two do.
Oh God!
Outside of work.
That's why I got all these ones. You don't even want to know, bro.
Should have been 100 ones.
And I wasn't at the strip club.
What? I like the just speaking to the investment piece again, and then kind of the thing. What is Malik Kenny doing? How does it differentiate from what you're doing? Because I want everybody to know about all these different things going on in the community. Where as blacks, we are trying to find a path to our own sustainable grocery stores that are providing healthy and high quality product of all sorts.
I'm gonna be honest. There's no difference. Between what Malik Yakini and I do, it's no different. Just a different name in a different neighborhood.
Yeah,
there's no difference in the concept. He's building a bigger store. That's probably the only difference.
Yeah.
You know, I like the smaller locations, more satellite. He's building a big store, but he has a farm and he has other uses for that space. Where I'm more remote and, you know, have a smaller space, and, you know, I'm catering to more of a busy Detroiter, the grab and go Detroiter.
Yeah.
But the Detroiter that's, you know, on their phone a little bit more and can take, because I've been on the content in media. I think that's making it cool. You know what I'm saying? Edutainment has to be there.
Yeah.
And that's the only real difference, man. He's building another food oasis just on another side of town. And it's no different.
And shit, we need 50 of these to open up anyway. So
period. So it was like that was always the conversation. Me and Malik never had an issue.
Yeah.
I think he respected that I respected him because when, he been doing this before I was doing it.
Yeah.
So when I came on the scene, that was the first person I wanted to talk to. Not from let me pick your brain. It was one, let me give you your flowers. I wouldn't have that opportunity to even be in this fight if it wasn't for the work that he had already did. So that started our relationship. And then, I'm a member of the Food Network. You know what I'm saying? So I've been a voting member for years.
The Detroit Black Food Security Network is what he's speaking to right
the
now.
Detroit Black Community Food Security Network.
Man, so much wisdom, man, from such a young guy. Raphael, what are you like, 29?
31.
31? All right, that makes me feel better. Yeah. It made the kill feel way better. He was looking at you like, oh, God, this dude's like, you're going to be my son.
I started.
What?
So this full-grown 31-year-old man could be my son, bro? What is wrong with you?
Don't let him do you like that, man.
That's all he knows.
Shit, look at that gray hair on his beard.
That's all he
Billy
knows.
Goat, gruff looking mother.
I've been picking up grades too, though, man. Like, this project has been stressful as shit, and I done been through a lot of other stuff with this project, you know what I'm saying? So a bunch of added pressure came with this, outside stuff that I didn't think would ever come. So, the grades coming in, I'm getting them too at 31. I'm getting them, man. You know what I'm saying?
I saw recently, because I get your email blast, I saw you said you had got an extension to get the funds that you needed to secure the location recently, right?
Yep.
So how much do you need, and how much do we need to push people and hit people's pockets?
So I'm gonna talk about this Sunday at the Detroit Church of Messiah. In a physical sense, people meet me, and I'll give a full project update. But in short, I signed a purchase agreement in late December that gave me 60 days to do a due diligence of the property, as well as be capital ready to move forward in the event that everything checked out. Everything checked out but the capital ready part. The fundraiser didn't hit the way that it should have, so that we could be capital ready. So going to, went to the building owner and asked, just can I get some more time, which again matters, because I think that the perception is, oh yeah, it ain't gonna happen, but all these projects go through these same issues. Like from big people, the Meyer that's supposed to open on Jefferson, they go through the same thing.
Right.
It's capital issues are what it is. The difference is I'm not asking for a loan as much as I'm working with the neighborhood. So I have a whole different uphill battle versus going to the bank and things like that. So just being a little ingenious and just found a way to get a couple of more weeks to get more money available to get this space. The good thing is this space is probably overpriced, what we agreed upon. So now that's being explored. Like, is this really worth what we signed off on?
Yeah.
And of course it never is. But now, like, that some lenders are involved, they like, nah, that price too high. He got to come down on that price. So now a different conversation is being had, which is a good one. Yeah. And that's why I need people involved to see this side, because we're so uninformed on what it takes to get a project like this done. Even a small project, people don't know really the work that's needed behind the scenes. And I'm trying to pull the curtain back so everybody can see it, because this is very important if we really want to build the neighborhoods up. These are the headaches we're going to have to deal with. You're going to deal with, the Chaldean. And they don't teach you this. They don't teach you this in school. Like, all these programs, they teach you how to sign a purchase agreement or, how to create a good lease. They don't tell you how to buy from racist people. They don't teach women how to navigate in this business world. They don't teach you that stuff. I'm trying to teach that stuff. And I'm trying to teach it through experience. Like, we have a whole different issue. And now we opening up the box like, hey, you charging me $500,000 more for this store that probably ain't worth it. You know what I mean? So now we opening up the box, and I need people there to see that.
And man, you said this project is small. Small in no fucking respects. You know what I mean? Because the complexity that it takes to open up a quality grocery store is ridiculous. It's a combination of different types of retail. You need all types of bodies inside of it. You need all types of minds. It's a complex project, and I mean a complex piece project, yeah. And I think we are familiar with what we see in our neighborhoods, and we identify that as what a grocery store is, and that ain't what a grocery store is. That's what it ain't actually. That is literally somebody, like you said at the very beginning of this piece, pushing out expired products from other grocery stores and selling you leftovers at an inflated price and doing it to make a profit without giving a caring about the community. When you care about your community, when you care about anything, kind of like we said earlier, like even raising a kid, it takes a lot of energy and effort from a community and from somebody who's dedicated to watching that thing become successful, watching that person become successful. And man, I just want to say I'm proud of you, brother. I'm inspired. I'm uplifted right now. I'm motivated. I'm feeling pumped. I want to quit my job.
No,
I'm
don't
trying.
do that.
Oh, yeah, I can't quit that bag quite yet. That bag is kind of right, but
you are important. Like y'all, all of y'all are important because y'all are getting an opportunity that a lot of people have worked for 30, 40 years don't get. It's people right now. My neighborhood, right? My neighborhood store. I lived in that neighborhood since '92, still over there. And it's one guy, he been the stock person that whole time. He probably know the store like the back of his. I'm pretty sure he do. He could run that store if they gave him the opportunity. But I'm pretty sure he couldn't go to the bank and say, "Hey, give me a loan to open the grocery store. I worked in this one for 30 years." The reference is gonna be he was a stock person for 30 years. He ain't got no operating experience. So having that opportunity as a black person, and that's another thing that holds you back is that you don't have the experience.
Yeah.
You have to really know what the fuck you doing to handle raw, perishable items like that, and you still getting a 1% margin on that.
Because I don't think y'all get that. Just because it ain't like a shirt where it's gonna just sit on a hanger and be cool. It's gonna go bad soon, and unless you're gonna do some shady practices to keep it alive and well,
know what you doing.
You got to know what you're doing, because otherwise you're gonna lose that small margin, and that's why it's really difficult, and that's why some of these places are so shady, is because they gonna do some shady practices to sustain the longevity of products. I always remember this shit. I'm at this market around the corner from where I was standing off of Jefferson, and I know grocery stores. I know this, so I'm like, hey man. Is mold on the meat out here, right? To get mold on a smoked product take a hell of a long time, period. It ain't like it's been sitting there for like 7 days. It's been there for weeks. I know this for a fact. I do this, right? So I tell my man, like, yo, this whole section right here, and this is me looking out too. This whole section right here has mold on like some smoked turkey necks or some shit like that. I'm still over there. He grab them, boop, 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 boop. He grab all these little packs, right? It's like 10 of them, right? I hear him go to the back. I hear the saw cut on. Zoom, zoom, zoom. Right? He come back out with what looks to me the same turkey necks with the mold cut off of them, repackaged, right? With a new date on the shit, though.
Of course.
So he just extended the shelf life of it, which is illegal, right? But then on top of that, too, the product already had mold on it, so it was already bad. You know it's bad, but then you extended the shelf life on it, right? And what he's working on, what my man's right here, Raphael, is working on, is to try to push that out, because those are the things that are going into your bodies, that are going into the communities, and molding the minds of the communities that we do have, man. Like you said at the beginning, what you put inside your body dictates who you are as a person, how you feel, how you evolve. I was watching some shit recently where they were saying humanity, if you believe in evolution, humanity went from being in one state to another state mentally based off of the foods we're eating once we decided to become farmers and we became hunters and gatherers as opposed to scavengers. You know what I mean? So imagine what we're doing to ourselves. Are we taking steps backwards as we eat the things that we are given to us inside our communities that aren't good for us all, and we know that? Or are we making progress? And we know we're not making progress, right?
Yeah, I think we are going backwards. The longer we go down this road, it's like the shit we talking, this shit is like Spanish to the average, person in our neighborhood. They like, I ain't trying to hear that shit, because they don't agree. And but it goes back to what they eating every day. They eating trash, and it's no different than being a substance baby, like a crack baby. It's no difference. Like if you eat trash every day, the mind is only as good as the temple that is in. You know what I'm saying? And if your body is trash, your brain is gonna be trash. You're not gonna be a good parent. You will not be a good child. You will not be a good teacher. You will not be a good leader if you eating trash every day. And I hate, again, I come from the world, so it's like I don't want to run no checkup and die when I'm 40. You know what I'm saying? Like I want to live to enjoy this shit too. It's nothing wrong with enjoying this shit. There's nothing wrong with making money and having nice things, but it is a waste of time when you don't, you know what I'm saying, you die when you 35 or something like that. Right. People dying from heart attack. I'm diabetic. I'm only 32. I'll be 32 this year. I'm diabetic. You know what I'm saying? I've been diabetic since I was 19.
Yeah.
Let's knock that out the park, bro. We could do that. Me and you.
Yeah. So we was sending stuff, but I've been working on that. But again, I was a part of the world that didn't see the correlation between health and wealth. You know what I'm saying? That's why, like, Make the Hood Great Again, that I trademarked that, by the way. That's my shit. But now I'm talking about make the hood healthy again and make the hood wealthy again. And, you know, let's bring back the community. You know what I'm saying? Like when we had to eat nigga pie, you know what I'm saying? Let's bring that back when we had some unity and some cohesiveness and some leaders to get behind and some followers that actually wanted to follow. You know, this social media world done created just a big world of confusion where, you know, nobody wants to follow nobody, but nobody wants to really lead either. So it's just kind of like we just gonna do whatever. And it's a jungle, you know what I mean? But we are, I think, in a good place. I think everybody is starting to wake up again. We gonna kill this shit, man.
God damn, this is a good ass episode. Shit, and mostly because of Kill not speaking, but it's still.
Man.
You done brought so much knowledge.
You, Booze, and
Rivermouth.
and I swear to God, the next meeting we have, hey man, because I got
I'm sorry.
you are so excited, hey man, and then
Yes.
He
Shit.
was so geeked about you coming on the show,
I swear, bro.
I promise you.
How could you not be inspired by this, man?
because
Like,
he fly, man.
and
I
it's
heard
like-
the last episode too, and I'm like, oh no, it's over with. It's in there. I'm in here. I heard that last episode. Like I'm in there.
Yeah,
Thank
man.
you,
It's all about like bringing people into the fold who like-minded, kind of like you said earlier. We doing our own thing, but we moving forward as a unit. I love that shit you said about you and Malik. I love the fact that you said we can do our own thing but still be unified at the same time, man.
We need each other. You know, like we gonna have our fun. I mean, we one where we got age differences, so who's to say that we could work together on a day-to-day basis? We probably couldn't work together every day.
Yeah.
You know, we value different things. We got different aspirations. You know, he got adult children. I got or Tyler. You know what I'm saying? We have this. You know, just the atmosphere are different for us, but we got to put our money together to be effective. You know, it's the mob. We got to be the mob. You know what I mean? Like, we can control the board if we work together and do it. Like, you on the west side, I'm on the east side. We find somebody else on the west side, find somebody else on the east side, because I can only do so much on the east. He can only do so much on the west. We're inspiring people to say, yep, we need to get in there and do it too. You know, I hate, like, I'm in semi-clothing business with Make the Hood Great Again. But I hate when I see, like, all of my friends got clothing lines, and it's like, don't you know it could be so much cheaper if we bought this shit together? You know what I'm saying? Like, again, buying group. We need buying groups. Like, you can do your design and have your own identity, but we all buying from the same plug. We all got the same plug. So you put your money with my money, we buy our stuff together, it'd be cheaper. And then we can really get funky with this shit that we doing, like, what I've been doing, what I'm about to roll out for Make the Hood Great Again, which is by intention because it's an election year. All of this stuff is being tied together. Grocery store, Make the Hood Great Again, Urban Health Channel, all this stuff is one thing. But it's finna get ridiculous as far as like the next rollout of information and content. Like it's finna be stupid. But I'm doing that because I'm working with people and we getting the bag cheaper. So now I can actually add more to the product and the presentation. So that's what it's about, you know, just giving more and just coming correct. You gotta come correct with this shit.
That boy got a business mind on him, man.
Gotta come with it, man.
For sure.
Like you went to Cass or something, bro. It's crazy.
Pretty sure he said he went to King.
Definitely turned down Renaissance. Sure of that.
Anywho, for the listeners, I'm a little touched, so it took me like 5 minutes. But the average person who didn't go to Cass, you could probably zoom through this in like 3 minutes. So the website,
I was over here struggling, yo. I saw him like, shit, is it a semicolon in there?
Anyways, is neighborhood-grocery.com. Extra simple, www.neighborhood-grocery.com. The first thing on there is a shopping cart and invest before you even get to the rest of the website. You click there. You got options for, you know, you got different ways, different methods you can invest. You got a $5 option on there for some people. But I just went on there, got my little email back in like 30 seconds. Everything is copacetic. You invested in something phenomenal. And keep in mind, this is a timely thing. I'm sure they might have things in the future you could participate with. But right now, you get a chance to be a part of the basement, the construction.
Yeah, the foundation.
Man, that ain't never been done before. Yes, we had a black grocery store before, but nothing like this with this level of quality.
Yeah, this level of quality and intent, too. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, going with the smaller store, and y'all know the bigger stores.
Hold on, bro. Let me real quick, since Bulls want to talk about people don't know about science and stuff. The smaller, Dave, back me up now. The smaller the space, the greater the potency, the capacity for energy. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, that's true.
Yeah,
Period.
contained. Absolutely.
Yeah, I know you seen Bruce Lee hit somebody with a little 2-inch punch and knock him back like 20 feet. So that small space about to just have thunder just inside.
Yeah, and that applies to grocery for sure, because and I think I want to take credit for this. I'm pretty sure somebody else has done it, but I think for our people, I did a real study and present this with my capital stack to lenders or whatever. The theory has always been the bigger the store, the more money or impact you make in grocery. But what you don't take into account is the bigger the store, the more equipment, the more people, the more the expense. So it just kind of cancels out what you can make. You can make that same impact with a smaller space, the less that is required to run it, but you can still make that same dollar per square feet. Now, the downside to that is you lose the people part, right? A big store, you get, in the city, the average store can hold probably like 15, 20 people. Well, you're going to obviously lose that in a smaller space. But that's why I'm opening up the media end. So now I'm creating more jobs on marketing. Everybody don't want to work in the grocery store, but now we doing the social media shit. We opening up legal. We opening up different things to keep this running and growing. We pretty much just created those jobs that would have been lost anyway. But now they're skill trades, and we can pay more money doing that. Everybody ain't gonna get the customer service wage now. Now you got specialist jobs being created. You know what I'm saying? So I've been asked for that help too. Like, yo, get on board on these marketing committees and the planning committees and the legal stuff. Like, get in on this stuff, because again, this is a resume builder, and this is where the money gonna be built once this thing is done. We have bags that's being created way before way before the stores even started. We're doing other stuff. So it don't just start with grocery, man. It starts here and then it expands out. So much is being flipped off of this. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm working with college students to make the hood great again, because again, it sheds more light on the hood, but grocery. You know what I'm saying? The urban health channel is a way for people to get some videography, photography experience to tell the story of this grocery store. It all goes into one thing. It's all going into one bag. So them jobs is being created regardless. So I think it is dynamic, man. I really think it is.
You dynamic, bro.
You are dynamic, bro.
You sound good, but you like, ooh, you got the passion coming out your eyes. You got the inner, all the stuff you've been doing the last 3 years. I could feel it.
Yeah, we've been working. I've been working, but that's where social media come in too. Like, I show it, good, bad, or indifferent. If something good happened, I'm gonna show it. If something bad happened, I'm gonna show it. Can't say I didn't tell you. It didn't work, or this didn't work, or that happened. You can't say you didn't know, because I let everybody know about it, because it's a community thing. You know,
bro.
I don't see how this can't be successful, bro. With your energy and passion, like you making me want to jump on the team, and I done known you for 57 minutes.
Right?
So I want to be a partner.
The truth, bro.
And I like that
for sure.
you're definitely speaking to like finding a way. Where there's a will, there's a way, man. And like that shit is like, it just doesn't exist in the world we live in, man. It's like on to the next thing. And I kind of spoke to it earlier. It's like you continuously impress me with your dedication to the project. And I was watching. Do you guys know who Omni and the Hellcat is? All right, so it's this cat. He's a YouTuber, right? So YouTubers get paper. This dude he blew the fuck up last year because he basically would just spend his episode just spending a ton of money, right? He would go out and buy whips, property. He would, and like he never spoke to how he got his money. He's a real irregular guy in that sense. Just got a ton of bread from nowhere. And like when I say he's buying whips, he's switching out the Lambo truck for like, I don't know, a race car or something, right? Just something crazy. And last night I was just listening to how he got his bread, because it's an interesting story. He literally got millions of followers within a couple of months. And it's like an unheard of thing. And he said he was getting it through tech, right? And he got raided by the feds recently, right? And they said that he had an estimate worth of $50 million, right? and he flexing hard on YouTube. When I say hard, like buying 4 cars at a time, buying houses. His jewelry is just dumb. Going to Best Buy and buying his kids the store. And of course, just like entertaining to watch somebody spend money, But he gets rated. And so I'm watching last night on like where he got his bread from. He started off selling dope, got robbed a couple years ago, got into the tech biz and just pursued it, right? Learned one aspect of the tech biz, of apps in particular. Wait, actually take it back. He was buying illegal fire sticks online and then selling them boys back out after they had been jailbroken, right? So he was selling these fire sticks for like, you can watch any and everything. Started saying like, damn, what software do you use to jailbreak it? Then got into the software portion of how you jailbreak that boy. Then went another way and created like another lane for himself based off of his continuous pursuit of knowledge in the thing that he was just doing. And that's what you remind me of, because I'm just seeing the dollar signs add up as you say, you know what, this in me pursuing grocery, I see these other avenues coming up. And I respect it so much because that's the way it's supposed to be. Much like the Middle Eastern cats, they didn't just do a grocery store. And I said this before, they do the grocery store, they do the they might be a part of distribution. They might be a part of, it's a gas station over here. I'm at the gas station. One cat, they own the gas station already. Another Middle Eastern cat pulls up with the groceries, right? Another Middle Eastern cat is taking putting the air inside the machine and taking that you put inside the tires. Another cat is with the gas itself. You know what I mean? Like they said, you know what? It's 8 lanes right here. We need to pursue them all because there's a whole lot of money in this right here if we just pursue all the different avenues. And that's why as I'm listening to you, I'm like, this boy's so smart and he's so on.
Power in numbers.
Power in numbers and being unified. And they all got their own lanes, but they all eating. Maybe you don't want to work as hard. The dude who's getting the money at the quarters out of the air machine, I said, shit, you a smart motherfucker right there.
Yeah.
I mean, like, shit, you putting air in the machine and walking away. How easy do it get? And you getting paper. Everybody got to put air inside their tires. We in Detroit. You probably got a car or a bus or something. But all of the say, man, like, I feel like you were making it so it's like a lot of opportunities, like kind of just what you're speaking to, is a lot of opportunities in just pursuing this one goal because it's bigger than just a grocery store. It takes a lot to be successful. It takes the social media outlet. It takes being having the right connections as far as the distribution goes. And I'm seeing how you plug in all these other people, man. But it's just a pleasure to speak with you today, man. And this was, man, I can't.
It's the
7
best
to 8
podcast we done had, bro.
7 to 8 are dope.
These
Seven-
last
The
two.
best day.
These last two are
for sure.
ridiculous, bro.
It's setting bars. And I feel like, man, I listened to one of our episodes one day because I didn't listen to our episodes forever, just real talk. And I started listening to the first episode and said, God damn, this is good as fuck. Like, this shit ain't bad. You know what I mean? Like, I know we like it, you know what I mean? Because we geek before we even come in this boy. But you listen to it and say, we got good synergy, but the information you brought today, combined with our natural energy, to me, it's just dope, man. And I wanted to thank you for coming on because we running long already. I know I ate up a lot of the time talking, guys. I apologize about
I did
that.
too.
Nah,
But,
you,
hey,
you needed to.
Do
Thank
that,
you.
bro.
Yeah.
Please, bro.
Shit,
You needed to because a lot of people aren't aware of the things that you brought to the table. I wasn't aware of the different levels, like you saying, peeling back the onions, the different levels of, stuff you got to go through, the struggles, the movement, as you put it, and you bringing that to the table for inspiring or aspiring entrepreneurs is key, bro. There's a 21, 22-year-old listening right now that is like taking notes, bro, and wants to be you.
Right.
I want to be like him.
Wants to be you right
That's
now.
going
Bro, this
on
is the
right now,
epitome.
bro.
You are the epitome of what we're about. We are about raising the vibrations inside of our community. This is what you're speaking to right now.
Yeah, that's lit.
This shit is so fucking fire because everything you said is about raising the vibrations inside of our community. And I couldn't be happier for having you on the show today, man. Like, seriously, this was just fire, bro. Between you and Ida, this is one of the best days.
I couldn't wait to get on here. Like, you kept asking, like, you got any questions? I don't need no questions, bro. Let's get on here. I already know it's gonna be an underhand pitch.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
we're gonna
man.
home run this thing. We already know what it is.
Yeah.
Let's bring it. Let's have fun. But let's educate. Let's edutain. You know what I'm saying? That's what we did today. I think this is this is a fun. It was fun. We had fun.
So
Thank you, bro.
for
It
the
was
next episode, since we have an upward trajectory, Let's resurrect Malcolm X. And be like, where we going next?
I know.
we got a topic.
Yeah,
We got-
bro.
Why do you guys have the Secret Service? We got Barack Obama in this bitch today. That's what we got.
about?
Shit. Man, thank you from the bottom of my heart. We running
sure.
long already. As always, we kind of end with appreciations. Any appreciations, my brothers?
Man, I want to appreciate ahead of time all these people that are about to get down with the program and invest in this
Why you steal my-
phenomenal.
Man,
What?
we so like-minded. I swear I was. I
Stop
swear
trying to be
I
like
was
me,
going
Akil.
to.
Stop trying to be like me. Be like Rafa. Get like Rafa. Don't watch me watch TV.
Damn.
Period. But anyway, shout out to all the people who about to get down with this amazing, transformative opportunity, present to us at this time, man. Like you said, this not just like he been going in for like 3 years or whatever, doing what he been doing recently. But like he said, this is like the byproduct of like 30 to 50 to whatever, who knows how much energy was put into the years. So this particular type of transformation can take place. Thank you for spearheading it, bro. Because not only is nobody doing it, who else was thinking about the thought you was thinking, bro? That Boo's not really a fan of astrology, but this what we mean by that was in the stars, bro. Bro, too in tune with that. You got spirit behind you. You know what I'm saying? You got forces behind you to be steady and consistent for something like that, man. All praises due. Take my hat off to you. Much respect, much love, bro. All of that. Throwing another 50 next check, another 50 after that.
man.
We about to go dumb.
We,
For sure.
we definitely about to throw all of our backing behind that. If you listening, you need to jump on neighborhood/grocery.com and
For sure.
don't drop $5. Drop that 50 ball. Drop 100.
Yeah.
Like,
You spending it on weed anyway.
thank you.
Yeah, go.
Yeah.
Good
It's
God.
probably bad.
It's probably trash.
probably
Probably
Yeah.
trash weed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You rolling in the swishers. Damn. Whatever.
And I'm gonna jump in just one quick thing for y'all. I know you're giving appreciations, but trust is big. That's why I've been so transparent. But I've been dedicated too. So I think if you want to get behind something, this is how dedicated I've been. I raised $48,000 on GoFundMe.
Ooh.
Donation based, right? Which is a lot of money, but at the same time, not a lot compared to what is
What you
requirement.
need, yeah.
I committed to matching that dollar for dollar out of my pocket. I had some shit happen. I got hacked by Russians on my GoFundMe campaign. So I lost 11 grand. I had to give back, right? So I went from 48 to 37. I bought 2 market studies. They were $20,000 a piece. So I'm 3,000 in the hole. That purchase agreement cost 50 grand to get in there. So I put more into this than I actually raised, right? So not only am I doing everything to show people that they can trust me in this process, but I've been dedicated, whereas most people wouldn't even went that far and would have been gave up a long time ago. Like I put more into this than I got, and most people would have quit after the Russian shit, which I did a podcast episode about that, and that was just so fucked up. But that in itself, most people would have walked away. I'm still going. So if you got anything that will stop you far as trust or belief, you got to read the whole story, and then you will know like this a real guy, and I'm really doing this for everything. So real shit.
Yeah.
Dumb fly.
Stand up, got good energy. I'm pretty good on seeing through the skin. You know what I'm saying, bro? Bro, cut like that for sure. I appreciate you. Thank you for blessing us with your time, your energy. Thank you for blessing the community. Thank you in advance to all the people who about to be on the planet 300, 400 years in the future, who about to be benefiting off of what you're doing right now. Like, bro, this is big for sure. I know you know, but it's just, we just got to get it out. You the man, bro, for sure.
All right, guys. I think we wrapped it up for this episode of the High Vibe, guys. Thank you, and we'll see you soon. Peace.
Peace.